All right, here's the often promised and just now being delivered tour of the new camper van. Of course, we got the high top. I can almost stand up in it. It's about 6 feet tall after we got the seating in with the insulation. Of course, I'm 6'3", but it's more comfortable than the old one. There's 400 watts of solar on top, feeding a 170 amp hour lithium ion battery. So we should be able to last several days out on the road doing what we need without having to plug in. Here is, well, let's do the outside first. There is the plug-in for 120 volt service if I'm, or 110, like I can plug into a house outlet, or if I need to, we can hook up the generator and run everything, charge the batteries with that. Have a 2.5 gallon gas tank, and I think that's about enough to run the generator for about maybe 16 hours. Of course, we have propane. When we need heat, we have a catalytic converter heater, or a catalytic heater. No, not a catalytic heater. We have a fancy heater that'll run off that and won't be a risk for carbon monoxide poisoning, even though we're going to monitor for it. And of course, we're on the road. We have to have our tools and our fluids and replacement fluids. I have that Arbor refrigerator freezer set up as a freezer, and it is going to do double duty as preserving frozen foods, but also producing ice, not only to drink, but freezing these ice blocks. And we have a cooler, one of these knockoff Walmart knockoff Yeti coolers that we were used to as a refrigerator. There's the bed. It's just a twin size, extra long, but it's long enough for me. I was a little apprehensive about whether wide enough, but he seems to be all right since I'm just traveling solo. There's a piece of Reflectix cup panels for the windows. Here's one example to keep the sun out and to provide a little protection against the heat. And there's cabinetry all around, and we'll see that when we get inside. And of course, there is a 75-foot expensive extension cord to try to keep from burning things up if I plug too much stuff into my system while I'm plugged into shore power or the generator. Already getting a little worn out, but here a few things right here in this corner. There's the first aid kit. There is the camp stool and the toiletry arrangements, and there are some walking sticks. And right behind it is a tub that fits perfectly on that ledge to be a whatnot catch-all, and to serve as a place to lay stuff while I'm in bed. There's a couple more on this side. The most important stuff is, if you look down there, there is a 12-volt fan, and of course there's an AR-15. Shh, don't tell anybody. But as you see, these cabinets, the one in the back has nothing in it, and it's a huge cabinet, so I got plenty of room to expand. There's more of a Reflectix panel. There's the bed. In this cabinet are the electronics, the controllers. There is my wardrobe. It's not the best situation in the world because those clothes are going to be wrinkled when they come out, but this is an evolving project, so we'll see what happens. This is my medicine cabinet. That's going to have my toiletries and prescriptions. This cabinet is where I have electronics like flashlights, batteries, chargers, extra cords and connectors, and also the extra AR-15 clip, so that I have 60 rounds. And if that's not enough, if I'm in a situation I don't need to be there in the first place. Up there above the drivers of the compartment is where I have the yeah, I'm so sorry, I'm already fogging up as part of the stroke and what I have to deal with. And I have been arranging the van, cleaning it up and getting it all ready to go. But in that compartment up there those are some blackout curtains for use when I need privacy and park somewhere at night, like a Walmart parking lot or something. There's also a couple of cast iron skillets and some cooking utensils and paper plates and plastic forks and the like, garbage bags and things. This compartment is my pantry. Pretty bare right now, but I got knockoff Mountain Dew, tiny sausages, and pickled bologna. I could live for a month off of what's in there. Well, maybe not a month. I'd have to have a couple more Mountain Dews. But anyway, let's look at this, the setup from the, we've taken out the passenger seat. And the white unit is an portable air conditioning unit that runs off of 120 volts or 110. But I can only use it when I'm plugged in. I could run it off my batteries for a couple of hours, but that's not going to do a great deal. So I'll either have to plug into a power source or run the generator to run that. But by taking out the passenger seat, I've cleared up so much space, and plus that way, if somebody wants to bum a ride, I say, "I'm sorry, I don't have a space for you." But anyway, that was too neighborly of me, was it? But you never know what you're going to meet out on the boondocking trail. But of course, there's a box for like papers and receipts and important things, and I have to do a little arranging when I get on the road. But you see, I've got paper towels and wipes and sanitizer and a couple of camera mounts and a stress reliever, wrist developer. I need to get back into the dart scene, so I need to strengthen my grip. On this hook, I have a baseball cap and a windbreaker. Got a couple of other clothes hooks, coat hooks in spaces. Have lights. These are just press-on lights that come on and go off, and they're battery operated, but they're operated off 3 AAA batteries, and I can charge those very easily off the solar or plugged in. These little silver discs are the rare earth magnets, and I have a system here where I put some lesser magnets there, and if I need to put up curtains, like when I pull into a parking lot at night, instead of blocking out the windows with the reflectors, I'll just put a curtain across here, and we'll block out the side door window, and nobody will, well, they probably know I'm in here, but they won't be able to see me. So you have that. Plus, that's a handy place to hang pretty much anything that you want. Like, there are a couple of towels up there if one of them gets wet, and I have clothes on the hooks. I'll just put it right there and let it dry. I'm rambling now. Let's see, we're getting close. There's my extra shoes in case this pair or something happens to them. Like Minnie Pearl, she wore the price tag in her hat, her Stacey out, because she was proud of her. Creators proud of it. I just leave that on because I got this drop front desk that fits perfectly in the build for $50. And what it is, you know, I have general stuff in here. That's a Wi-Fi booster and a couple of knives and some extra sunglasses and reading glasses, and that's the most important thing in the van. That is a white noise generator. With that going on at night, I can be parked beside a semi-tractor, a tractor running, or it's diesel all night long generator. I'll never hear it. So that's worth its money. And then this drawer has just general stuff, scissors, fire starters, and clips, and magnets, extra magnets. And down here is the induction cooktop that I will use. I can run it off of an inverter at low temperatures, which is great for cooking like breakfast, because you don't want to be too hot when you're cooking eggs anyway. And if I need to cook something then I need to do it on high, I can always start the generator. And if I'm plugged into shore power, that'll be no issue at all. Here's my electrical setup. That power strip is plugged into that outlet that we saw earlier on the side of the van, and I can either plug that into someone's house outlet or start the generator and plug the extension cord into that, and I'll have AC power. This is the DC controller coming off, or not controller, but outlet. We have these 12-volt cigarette lighter plugs, and then of course a couple of these USB cords. And right now the battery is at 14.2 volts, which means it's full. And since we have had a lot of sunshine today, after a night in the van, it usually charges back up by 9 o'clock the next morning, because all I run or when I'm on DC power is I run that fan, and I have a ceiling fan back there, and I run both of those, and it pulls some air through and makes it pretty cool. Of course, here's really an important part. Even though when I'm running my propane here is supposed to be a catalytic process that does not generate carbon monoxide, but better be safe than sorry. I've got the carbon monoxide tester somewhat level with the sleeping platform, so maybe I'll get woken up if something goes wrong. However, there's my refrigerator. I'll change out those frozen ice packs and maybe even a couple of frozen bottles of water every day to keep the temperature, maybe a couple times a day, to keep the temperature in the refrigerator at an appropriate level. All right, let's see. I believe I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but one more thing, the more important one. In this little ledge here where the sliding door rides, is a perfect place to have my flashlight collection, so that I can have them instantly if I need to look outside. And there's another of those stick-up lights that turns on. But this is my big Thor light, which reaches way out. And then I've got this little. It actually has a function. It's a red light also from when I'm at night. I don't need to run my night vision. And this is a zebra light. Those are pretty nice lights. And this is like a little military light that you could clamp on to your AR-15, but I don't do that. If I can't see it, I don't need to be shooting at it. All right. Okay, let's see if we can catch up here. I'm going to leave. It's early evening now, probably about 5 p.m. I'm getting ready to go, but it's going to be terribly hot in southern Mississippi where I'm headed to. And if I leave later tonight, I can only drive for a limited time before I have to pull over and sleep. So if the later I wait, we've got about an 8.5 hour drive to Biloxi, where I'm going to start the novel, and I'll start the research trip, or that's where we'll get the research trip, get onto the research. So sorry, the stroke fog is really pulling in. Please forgive me. I'll end it here in just a minute, but I'll probably try to drive somewhere south of Nashville, and then spend the night in a truck stop or a parking lot or something. And I may not, since I'm getting like this, I may not even go tonight. I may leave sometime in the morning. But if I do that, that means when I have to stop to take my nap, I'm going to be somewhere in the heat, high heat. And I've never paid to spend the night in a paid commercial campground, but I probably will do that on this trip sometimes, just depending on the heat and humidity. And since we're going to be in southern Mississippi, I'm sure there are boondocking opportunities, and they will play a part in the novel. But I don't know that I'm that hardcore. So we'll just play it by ear. But I may be spending some money to plug into at a campground. All right, we'll get on the road here in a little bit.